Dee Ford. He's got a neck injury. Actually, no, wait, it's a back injury. They say it's serious. They hope it might get better. They seem like they're just kind of waiting and seeing. Shanahan was asked today, are you afraid or concerned that Dee Ford might retire? And Shanahan said, well, there's always a concern when you're dealing with a back. So he wouldn't go as far to say as, yes, we think he might retire, but he wouldn't say, no, we're certain he won't retire. So I want you guys to speculate big time, but do you think Dee Ford will play ever another snap for the 49ers or any team?
No. It's wishful thinking, in my opinion, to think that Dee Ford will come back. He provided such a huge boost for the defense in that divisional game against the Vikings, where I'm holding out hope that he returns because he really does help round out the defense. It's just one thing after another with him, and it's very unfortunate. And I don't think we'll see him for the remainder of the season. I don't think we need to see him with the additions of Jordan and Anza. There's speed to be found, not the same effectiveness as Dee Ford, but I think he's against the Cardinals. That was his last snap, his last game as a 49er.
It's hard to tell because you don't know exactly the degree of the back neck injury. Because if it's very serious, then he probably should retire just for future value of life. But if it is just something they're being careful with, it depends to me how Deion Jordan and Kerry Hyder play for the rest of the season. If they become pass rush hungry by the end of the year and they need that lift week 12 through 17, then maybe Dee Ford does get a final go with this team. But I don't think if he doesn't come back this year, he's not going to play for the Niners again.
And go ahead. I was going to say, I feel bad for Dee Ford. I feel like a lot has not gone his way since the Chiefs fans were bashing him all the way through the Super Bowl. His old teammates were making like nasty comments towards him and how happy they were that he was gone. And all that stuff. I feel for Dee Ford. I would like to see him out on the field and contribute in a positive way, but it just looks like health-wise, his body's just not holding up. And, you want to have a nice life after football. Right. So what's the next move? But
it just seems like if you 20 to 30 to $40 million in the bank and you potentially have an injury that could affect you the rest of your life, you probably shouldn't play football anymore. I mean, I understand loving the game, but you need to protect yourself. And it seems like football is a great game to play to get yourself set for life and your family and your generations. But once you've accomplished that, why do you want to risk doing serious damage, permanent damage to your back? So the way I see it is, it seems like, I'm guessing, but it seems like there's some carryover with the Joe Staley situation. You got a potentially career-ending injury, and the player's concerned. They go to the team. The team says, we got you, man. Hey, why don't you take some time? Just take some time, see what happens. Maybe it'll get better. Maybe it won't. But you don't have to make any type of final decision now. I'm just guessing. But doesn't it kind of seem like they're similar situations?
I'd agree. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, until we know what it is.
Right, of course. It just seems like they've handled this similar to the way they've handled Staley, and the fact that Shanahan was asked about Dee Ford potentially retiring today, and he didn't say, like, where are you getting that from? Why would you say that? Well, he was basically like, well, we don't know. So I think that's kind of where we're at. It's a very serious injury and a very serious part of the guy's skeleton, but they're kind of hoping that if you give it some time, we'll see what happens. So I would have to say I would be surprised if he ever plays a snap again in the NFL. Sorry, D. And do what's best for you and your family because you've done enough. You've proven your point. You're a hell of a player, and you had a good career. And even if Niner fans are disappointed with what you gave or Chiefs fans give you a hard time, who cares? You're set for life, and you can take heart in all those sacks you had because you were a hell of a player. You can tell your grandsons that you were a baller, and you were. Enough. Retire if you need to because I don't play football anymore, and I'm really happy. Never played football. All right, last question.